In this video, I'm going to waste your time by telling you about a shoe that you're not going to buy. But I happen to think it's actually a really good shoe, and it's a real shame that none of you are going to buy it. So are you ready to hear about this shoe? Let's get stuck in. Okay team, so here it is, the shoe that you're not going to buy, but you are going to listen to for the next 5 or 6 minutes. This is the Under Armour Velociti Pro 2. Now, I was a big fan of version 1 of this shoe. In fact, I really like that shoe and I recommended it for anybody who has some mild stability needs that was looking for a super trainer. And the good news is this continues very much along that path. Okay, so this is a super trainer in the Under Armour lineup, in the Velociti lineup. We've got the Elite 3 and hopefully you've seen that video. Then there's another shoe that sits under this. But this is your sort of, your super trainer, the shoe that's gonna go long, go into race day if you wanted to do some sort of faster stuff. You know, the super trainers that are out there now. This is a versatile shoe that features some of the, let's say, performance elements of the race day shoes. Now, firstly, I do want to give this some kudos for the way it looks. Let me know in the comments if you like the look of this shoe. I actually really like the look of this shoe. I don't know if it's the black colourway with the big Under Armour logo, but I really do like the look of this shoe. Right, so let's get into what's going on with this shoe. Let's talk about the stats and features. And there isn't much detail coming your way, by the way, because I don't really know too much about it. And that's because Under Armour don't have any of that information readily available. But what I can tell you is this shoe's £145. It's 280 grams in my UK 9.5 and it fits true to size. We've got an 8mm drop, and I'm guessing, because it's no official stack height, that the stack height's around 36mm, but it's a pure guess. We've got the Lino weave stretch upper that's on the Elite 3. This is a different version of it. It's a slightly, and I'll show you the different version of that stretch upper. We've got the injected midsole plate, basically a plastic plate, so it's less stiff than the carbon. Again, we've got the beaded Hover Plus midsole dual-foam setup here. I'll show you that in just a second. And I think on the outsole, again, we've got a bit of that sort of carbon rubber that's featured on some of the other shoes in the Under Armour range. Right, so like I said, let's take a closer look. So here's the upper, which I think, actually, where's the, I might have it. Oh, one sec. Oh, here it is. Look. So here's the weave pattern on the Elite, and there's the one on the Pro. I think it's a different, the Elite shoe is definitely much more breathable, racier upper. We've got sort of bog standard laces on here, which aren't a problem, by the way. They do a good job. An ungusseted tongue that does move about and is quite big. Plenty of foam and padding in the heel. It's actually quite comfortable in here. There's your outsole. As I say, this sort of carbon rubber that we feature on a lot of the shoes that are out there now, and a load of it in the heel, which is good news for you heel strikers. Hover Plus midsole, and then as you see now, hopefully, can you see that? Maybe it's better there. You've got the plastic plate, there you go, sticking out the other side, which is quite good. Again, helps with stability. I'll come on to that in just a bit. But yeah, you've got the plate in there, which is, it's still snappy, but it's not, as I say, aggressive as the plates that you get in some of the super shoes that are out there. Like I said, it does fit true to size. I've had no problems in terms of the fit and the feel of the shoe, none at all. 9.5 UK. Fits fine. And that's about it. So let's dive into how it's performed. So I've used it like I do with any super trainer. We're doing a mixture of work in the shoe throughout the week. Slightly longer stuff, slightly shorter stuff, slightly faster stuff, slightly easier stuff, right? There's nothing that I've done in this shoe that I've not done in any of the super trainers that we've tested on this channel. The shoe feels pretty decent, around that sort of 8-minute miles, that 5-minute kilometers. It feels pretty decent for me. I wouldn't say that I could feel the plate working, but I think with the plate, what it does provide is a nice stable ride. Again, I'll come on to that when I wrap this up. But the plate, again, is not overly aggressive, but when you do pick up the pace, the shoe does respond quite nicely. It feels lighter on foot than the 280 grams that it's currently weighing on my scales. The shoe's nice and comfortable. The breathability is great on it. The lockdown's great on it. The tongue is a bit annoying, but overall, the fit and feel of the shoe at the different paces is great as well. It's handled everything that I've thrown at it. There's been no sort of weak points to the shoe in terms of performance. Yeah, you know, 7-minute miles is probably not going to do particularly well, but you know what? I think the sort of price point, I'll come on to that again, I think it's giving you what all the other super shoes, super trainers that are out there can offer you as well. And I'll talk about that in just a sec, because before that, I do want to talk about the stability of this shoe. I must give this shoe kudos, like I did the previous version. And by the way, they switched out the Flow midsole in this. They put the Hover Plus in here. That was like an EVA foam that was in that. But the stability of this shoe is really good, considering what you're getting here. And I think this is a shoe that would appeal to somebody who mildly pronates or a heel striker. Like I said, you've got so much of that carbon rubber in the heel, and with the plastic plate that's running through it, it is a very stable ride. And I think if you're somebody who mildly pronates but struggles to find a super trainer that works for you, because I do appreciate a lot of them are pretty soft, this is definitely a shoe to consider. So yeah, you heel strikers or you mile pronators, this could be one to consider, and especially at £145. Which brings me on to my conclusion. Now, just to rattle off some numbers, all right? The Hoka Mach X3, £170. The Asics Sonic Blast, £170. The Saucony Endorphin Speed 5. Now, it's not £170, it's £180. And this shoe, £145. Now, what I would say is this shoe's going to get discounted, because at £145, not many people are going to buy it. When this shoe gets discounted down to like 130, 120 or lower, then I think that's the time to jump on this, because I think you're going to get a very good shoe here at that price. But like I said at the start, at £145, I don't think anybody's going to go out and buy this shoe, because you're all going to go and buy a different super trainer, right? Who's going to want to buy this? But I do want you to seriously consider it when it does get discounted down. And especially, like I said, if you're a heel striker or somebody who mildly pronates and you're after a super trainer. Now, I do think it's a shame that no one is going to buy this shoe, because I don't think it's going to get much love at all from anybody, really. But it is actually quite a sneaky little hit. But I do appreciate that nobody's going to want to spend 145 quid on this shoe. I get that, right? Especially when there's so many of like the current models getting discounted down. I said about the Speed 5 at £108. I've seen that discounted down to £150 already, right? So I feel like this is in a pond full of like other sort of super trainers that are eating this thing alive because of what they're offering, especially last year's models that are discounted down to the sort of £145 that this is currently retailing at. It makes no sense to buy this. I 100% get that, despite it actually being rather a good shoe. And that's the thing, like I said, no one's going to buy this. But I think when this gets discounted down, then we may have a sleeper hit on our hands, especially, like I said, if you are a heel striker or somebody who mildly pronates. So there we go, team. That's my thoughts on this, the Under Armour Velociti Elite Pro 2. I still think Under Armour have got a long way to go in terms of their shoes. And look, I've still got the Elite here. I don't know if you've seen the video on there. But this thing was like something that could have come out in 2022. They could have done a better job with that shoe. It's not a bad shoe, right? But it's like when you put it up against what's currently out there, it's like, come on, guys. You really need to pick up the sort of development race versus the other shoes. But yeah, I genuinely like this shoe. I prefer this over like the Hoka Mach X3. I really do. Just something about it that works for me. Maybe it's the stability in the shoe. It is a firm ride. I don't particularly mind a firmer ride, especially if I'm picking up the pace a little bit. I like it. The outsole does a good job on it. It's really a good little shoe, you know. But I say, £145. Who's going to buy it? Okay, team, so that's my thoughts on that. If you found this video extremely unhelpful, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you found this video extremely helpful, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're trying to get to 22 million subscribers. But that's it from me. I'm off to send Under Armour an email and give them my CV and let them know that I can help them with shoe development. But until then, I'll catch you later.